All right. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, speech presented by Dr. Barry Avotu Johnson, the first, the country director of the Vote Must Count International Initiative, Vmcii, on the event of the Vmcii 7th World Press Conference holding in Abuja on the 17th April 2023. Distinguished gentlemen of the press, we welcome you all to the 7th edition of series of the Vote Must Count International Initiative press briefing designed to inform, educate, and mobilize the Nigerian people who have voted on the 25th of February 2023 for candidates of their choice and seems not to have their votes counted. This press briefing has practically entered its 7th edition in the recognition of the fact that the Nigerian people voted and have continued to fathom why their votes did not count at the time of our political history. The underlisted are some of the matters arising over the week from political actors who have acted against the wish of the Nigerian people in Adamawa State and some other states across Nigeria. Adamawa State elections by INEC has come again to the forefront. The election conducted in Adamawa State by INEC is not accepted and should be rejected by the Adamawa State people. In fact, we commend to the federal government of Nigeria under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari that the leadership of INEC should be scrapped with immediate effect and be replaced with a special election committee to finish up the 2023 electioneering process activities if we want to get quality results at the end of the process. Distinguished gentlemen of the press, on the issue of Peter Obi's passport used by an imposter in the United Kingdom that have brought about the detention and the questioning of the Labour Party presidential candidate, we want to call on the immigration and the federal government and the DSS to call all those who are in question to action, meaning that the immigration officers that were involved must be shown the way out by being arrested, prosecuted, and jailed according to the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Non-repentance of INEC, even after the people are protesting for the release of the fake presidential election results, we can see that INEC has not repented at all with the issues that we have seen over the weekend in the various wards and local government where elections were held over the weekend. Voters must come out to protest on the streets of Nigeria to continue to register the rejection of the 2023 presidential election result released by INEC with APC Ahmed Bola Tinubu as president-elect. And in the case of the interim government is the only solution for a united and peaceful Nigeria since the presidential election litigation is ongoing, meaning that we still stand on the pedestal of the request to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, to see the solution of conducting a peaceful handover on May 29 by providing an interim government for Nigeria which will bring about peace and unity for our country. The request for a national telecast of the 2023 presidential elections litigation. We call on the federal government also and the judiciary, meaning that the Chief Justice of the Federation and the Chief Judge of the Supreme Court should please understand that the reason why we as Nigerian people are calling for a telecast of the proceedings of the presidential elections will go a long way to buttress the image of the judiciary in Nigeria and across the world. The judiciary right now is left as the only weapon against the enemies of our democracy as they go ahead to give us justice. We want the Nigerian people who voted to also participate in as viewers on the election tribunals holding in the FCT. We want an immediate kickstart of the court proceedings so that the judgment can be issued before May 29 handover date. This will avoid a political crisis in Nigeria. We are calling on the judiciary to kickstart the proceedings of the litigation as quick as they can. The judiciary must give the best judgment and also consider the wish of the Nigerian people as paramount in giving judgment at the end of the day. Distinguished gentlemen of the press, we can now play away and run through the issues of the Time magazine publication, where Ahmed Bola Tinubu of the APC was listed as one of the 100 most influential personalities in the world. Not accepted. This decision is not accepted by the Nigerian people, and the magazine, the Time magazine, must apologize to Nigerians or face a $100 billion litigation suit for prestige damages against the Nigerian nation and the Nigerian people. It means that Vote Must Count is ready to click a suit of $100 billion against the Time magazine for using a drug dealer to describe a personality out of Nigeria. What we need is an apology, and the Times magazine must apologize to Nigerians if they must get away from that suit. The National Assembly leadership election must not consider any disgruntled element who snipped into the 10th Senate or National Assembly by breaching the courts, by bribing the courts at election tribunals to win elections. We shall present a list of names not to be voted for before the elections to be heard. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we shall present a list of names not to be voted for days before the election of the National Assembly we hold, meaning that this will help the Nigerian National Assembly to prepare a new phase in history that will provide solid leadership for Nigeria. We will present the Nigerian people with a list of names that should not be voted for into the new Nigerian Senate, into the new National Assembly. Remember that the 9th Senate have already been described as a rubber stamp National Assembly where anything and everything goes. The world knows that the Ahmed Lawal-led National Assembly was a total shame to our democracy, with loopholes in every corners of its operation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we call that Senate corrupt, we call that Senate indicted, and we call the new 10th Senate to please, as a way of considering the development of a new Nigeria, some of the senators who forced themselves into power on election day should not be considered. In our next press conference, we shall bring you a list of people that should never be given the opportunity to lead the National Assembly at this time in history. Gentlemen of the press, it is time for me to yield the mic. We have some other brothers and sisters who represent other organizations that will lend their voice, and as fast as possible, we shall call this press conference over. Thank you so much, and God bless Nigeria. Now I think we have to go to the position of the Director General of the National Resource Institute.
Thank you very much. I am Obedengwe Ayodele Monde, the president of the Global Center for Leadership and Good Governance. We woke up to another nightmare of election in Nigeria again through the by-election that held on Saturday. And the unfolding events that kept bringing embarrassment to us as people in this country is unacceptable. And we hereby, unequivocally, want to tell the Nigerian people that constant embarrassment from our electoral umpire is not acceptable, and they must be rejected in their own forceful and dangerous trend of electoral result pronouncement and announcement. We therefore want to put it straight that criminals with heavy machineries of deceit, violence, intimidation, threat, and maiming, who from the back door fix themselves in the corridors of power and have taken over our political space, are no longer accepted in this land. They are no longer accepted in our democracy. We are rejecting them, especially the posture the APC government is parading around our democracy. They want to forcefully, by all crooked means, continue in power by the criminal franchise of our electoral and judicial process with a high-wired bribery and vote buying in collusion with electoral, judicial, and security officers. All Nigerians and international community must rise up to resist every attempt to hijack power through the most unacceptable, dubious means. Leadership recruitment enterprise must be rejected and forthwith be buried to save our democracy. Citizens' zeal and belief in our electoral process are trampled upon, leading to voter apathy and disenfranchisement, which suits their premeditated, organized scenario to get crashed into places of power and authority, to continually feed fat on our common patrimonies and constant engagement in misuse of power. We, the citizens, must say no to every criminal attempt to disenfranchise or divide us. We must be resolute in our quest for the right thing to be done, no matter what pain we are subjected to. We must be courageous to stand our feet, to fight back the common enemy of our progress, peace, and unity. From the identity politics of religion, region, and ethnicity, which they introduce for patronage to corrupt the entire system for their greedy advantage. We, the citizens, must be very actively involved in all government activities so that we can hold them accountable. We are calling on the judiciary to do the right thing. If not, anarchy is inevitable. Therefore, they must do the right thing to save our only country from the verge of collapse. They must avoid that which is capable of bringing our country to its knees. We therefore call on our people, the Nigerian people, to arise. Let us defend our democracy in the true sense of patriotism with the last of our blood. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think we can now play on start on.
fellow citizens, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Stanley Oranika of the Good Cause Initiative. And just as you've heard my colleagues address you, talking about what has happened in our country, the dire state of our nation in these times, it's upon us to address that justice will be served in this nation. We have launched an investigation into the matter, as you all know, and those responsible for every malpractice will be held responsible and will be held accountable. Our commitment to democracy and to the rule of law remains unshakable. We will do everything within our power to ensure that the stolen mandate is restored to its rightful owner. We want to also commend the people of Nigeria for your resilience and for their peaceful conduct during this trying time. Your patience and restraint have been truly remarkable. I know it has been a difficult time for many of you, but we urge you to remain steadfast in your commitment to our democracy. It's only through our collective efforts that we can ensure a bright future for our country. I also want to address the role of the media in this matter. The media has been a critical partner in our fight for democracy, and they have played a crucial role in informing the public and holding those in power accountable. I want to assure every journalist and media organization that your work is valued and respected. We'll do everything in our power to protect the freedom of the press and ensure that they can continue to do their work without fear or reprisal. And for the international community, we know that Nigeria's success is tied to the success of the global community. We appreciate the support that we have received from our international partners during this difficult time. We urge the international community to continue to stand with us as we work towards restoring the stolen mandate and strengthening our democratic institutions. I also want to address the issue of voter suppression. We know that many Nigerians face a significant barrier to voting, and we are committed to working with civil society organizations and other stakeholders to remove these barriers and ensure that every Nigerian citizen has the right to vote. We'll do everything within our power to ensure that the voices of all Nigerians are heard. And as for the issue of political violence, we know that political violence is a significant threat to our democracy. We urge all political parties and their supporters to refrain from any form of violence. We will not tolerate any form of political violence, and those responsible will be held accountable. In conclusion, the restoration of Nigeria's stolen mandate is a critical step in our fight for democracy. We know that there are significant challenges ahead, but we are committed to working with all stakeholders to overcome them. We urge all Nigerians to remain steadfast in their commitment. Do not waver, or we shall get back what belongs to us. We shall build a strong and better Nigeria together. Thank you.
All right. I now have President of the Administration.